Welcome back to Love and Hard Money. I'm Brian. This is episode 19, and today we're starting something a little different, a special series I've been wanting to do for a long time. Over the next several episodes, we're going to read through one of the most important political essays ever written. It's called The Law, and it was written in 1850 by a French economist named Frédéric Bastiat. The whole thing is about 50 pages. It's short, it's sharp, and I'm not exaggerating. It's one of the clearest explanations of how governments corrupt themselves that has ever been put to paper. Now, why are we doing this on a show called Love and Hard Money? Because Bastiat's argument and Bitcoin's argument are, at their core, the same argument. And I want to walk you through that connection as we go. Here's the short version. Bastiat wrote The Law in the final year of his life. He was dying of tuberculosis. He was watching the French lurch towards socialism after the Revolution of 1848, and he sat down and asked a very simple question. What is the law for? What is it supposed to do? And what happens when it gets perverted into something it was never meant to be? His answer, and this is the thesis of the whole book, is that the law exists for one reason: to protect your life, your liberty, and your property. That's it. When law does that, it's just. When law is used to take from some people and give to others, even with the best intentions, it becomes what Bastiat calls legal plunder. And legal plunder, he argues, destroys everything it touches. It destroys the economy, yes, but more than that, it destroys the moral fabric of society. It teaches people that the way to get ahead is to capture the law and point it at your neighbor. Sound familiar? That's the Federal Reserve. That's fiat currency. That's the Cantillon effect, which, by the way, I've just learned I've been mispronouncing since I started this show. Sorry about that. Richard Cantillon, not Cantillon, was an Irish-French economist who observed centuries before the Fed existed that newly created money doesn't flow equally to everyone. It flows first to whoever is closest to the source: the banks, the government, the politically connected, and by the time it reaches ordinary people, prices have already risen. That's legal plunder with a money printer. Satoshi Nakamoto knew this history. Maybe not Bastiat specifically. We don't know what he read. But he understood the problem deeply enough to build a solution. Bitcoin has a fixed supply. It can't be inflated. There's no one close to the source because there is no source that can be captured. In that sense, Bitcoin isn't just a technology. It's a legal and moral statement. It says the law of mathematics will protect your property when the law of men will not. So, as we read Bastiat together, I want you to hold that in mind. Every time he describes legal plunder, ask yourself, where do I see this today? And then ask yourself, what would a world look like where that particular lever of plunder simply didn't exist, because the money itself made it impossible? That's the world Bitcoin is trying to build. Bastiat would have understood that immediately. All right, this is a short one today. Next episode, we start reading. We begin with Bastiat's opening argument, what life, liberty, and property actually mean, and why he believes the defense of those three things is the only legitimate purpose of the law. It'll be about 15 to 20 minutes of reading, and I'll be back with you at the top to frame what you're about to hear. Thanks for being here. This is Love and Hard Money.